Well, all right. Thanks for being on, everybody, and joining as we go here. I'm really excited to talk to you today about how to grow in challenging times. So, the funny story about this video and training that I put together is that I had to apply it immediately because the last time I tried to shoot this, I had a abundance of problems and it wouldn't work. The sound didn't work. Then I got the sound to work. I went live and all of a sudden OBS randomly quit. So I got to apply some of the teaching right away where you have to view it as an opportunity and just roll with it. Roll with the challenges, embrace them, and grow and get better. So that's a good thing. So today I wanted to talk about how to grow in challenging times. So I kind of sharpened up the points and had a little more thought to go into it. And I hope this really helps everybody because I know right now we're all going through challenging times. So I think the first key to grow in challenging times is to have a perspective shift. So perspective shift is embracing the idea that you're going to have to change the way that you look at things, and I'm going to have to change the way that I look at the things that I go through in life. So I wanted to start off with a verse. 2 Timothy 3 verse 12 says, "Yes, and everyone who wants to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will suffer persecution." So Paul's writing to Timothy and he lets him know that, hey, as you're growing as a teacher, a pastor, and you're doing the work of God, you're going through life, guess what? There's going to be problems, challenges, persecution. It's part of the journey. So often we are thankful for the blessings that God puts in our life. We embrace all of the promises of God and we trust and rely on them. But it's also coming to terms with the fact that as we go through this life of service to God, that there's going to be struggles and challenges. So like I was saying, everyone goes through struggles in life, but not everyone grows from those challenges. So the key to shortening the challenge curve and not having to go on the journey again and go around the mountain another time is to grow. So I know that makes sense, right? So I've got a couple tips that I wanted to talk through. Couple, not just tips, but more than that, I would say ideas, concepts, and perspective shifts, some mindsets that I think when we apply them will help us all grow together. So Romans 8 verse 28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." So, as you can see, I brought two verses out here. You might be thinking, Luke, those sound very contradictory. You're saying, hey, God, if you try to live a godly life in Christ Jesus, you're going to have persecution. And then you're telling me that God's going to work all of that stuff out for good if we're doing it and being called according to his purpose. Well, that's exactly right. The beauty of the perspective shift that we get as believers is that we know there's going to be problems in life, but as we go, we know that God's using all of those challenges to help us grow. So that's the perspective shift. Like I said, that's number one. You have to change the way you're looking at problems. If you look at it as just like, oh man, I'm just getting kicked by the world again, kicked me when I'm down, I got health problems, money problems, car problems, whatever it is, you name it. If you look at it as, oh man, I'm just getting piled on when I'm down, guess what? You're not going to learn and grow. You're going to give yourself a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're not going to grow. You're just going to keep getting kicked when you're down. But if you take that heavenly perspective that not only is God going to use this for good, but there's a purpose in the pain, that there's a purpose in the process that changes everything about the challenges and the times that you're going through. I had an idea, and I just kind of wanted to toss it out there to see what you guys think. Challenges are God's way of showing us that He trusts us. A lot of times we wouldn't give somebody a tough project, at work. Just think of a coworker. If they're brand new or they don't know what they're doing or they're not in your department, you wouldn't give them a hard challenge or a project if you thought they would fail, right? You're not going to set someone up for failure. You want to set someone up for success. So I'd say God is exactly the same way with us. He's not setting us up for failure. Even in the midst of pandemic, chaos, financial turmoil, and uncertainty, you're not being set up for failure. You're being set up for success. This can be a great blessing. So that's number one, changing that perspective shift. Once we have a perspective shift and we start looking at things differently, that brings along a change of mindset. So that's number two. If you're writing things down like you're a note taker like I am, how do we grow in challenging times? Step one, perspective shift. Step two, change of mindset. So what kind of mindset should we have? I think that what's helped me grow as a person, as a leader, as a husband, is trying to realize that this is an opportunity. I need to have an opportunity mindset as I go through this stuff. So I need to realize that, hey, this is an opportunity not only for me, my family, my community, our nation, to embrace the challenge and grow. So how do we just change a mindset, right? So I think that sounds like a big thing, like changing a mindset. Wow, that's a big arduous process, right? In reality, it's asking ourselves better questions. It's thinking through things in a better way. So some questions that I wanted to throw out there that I've been trying to think through in this process is, number one, how can I grow in this? So as part of the answer to that question, how can I grow in this? I realized this is a great opportunity for me. I have some extra time available and I want to grow. I need to grow. So, you know what? I should start doing all of those nice ideas and things that I have as projects that I've been thinking about doing, like this right here. I need to actually just do it. So sometimes I'll literally just throw something on Facebook like, hey, I'm going to go live at this time to talk about this because I'm tired of planning and thinking through things and I need to force myself to take action because this is the opportunity that I've been praying for and thinking about and hoping for. So guess what? I need to do it right now. Question number two in changing mindset, having the opportunity mindset. What do I need to learn? So what's beautiful about taking uncertain action is that you have to jump off of getting a perfect plan and just take some action, even if it's imperfect and not good. Like, I wish my setup for filming video was better, my background was better, lighting better, my whole setup with comments or whatever, everything. I could go, hey, I wish this was perfect, but in reality, I'll learn and get better as I go. So I'll never know what I need to learn to adapt and adjust in my process if I don't just do it. So that's the awesome part about embracing opportunity and jumping in. Question 3, what is the opportunity for me in this? So I know we all feel uncertain. We're all probably sick of news media talking about everything going on. It's just almost wears you down just from hearing the same thing over and over again. It's like the record player, right? After so many spins around, it's going to wear out. But if I and you, if we can take this opportunity to learn and grow and get better, we're only going to grow from this in a positive way. So I would ask you, join me in this process. think to yourself as you go through this, hey, how can I grow in the midst of the struggles? Maybe it's at work. Maybe it's in your family. Maybe it's in your church. Maybe it's community, friend group, whatever it is. And think, how can I grow in the midst of this to be a leader, to help other people? What do I need to learn to help serve other people? And then what's the opportunity for me in this? We can always look at, hey, what can go wrong? If you ask yourself that question, guess what? You're going to find all this stuff that can go wrong. But if you start thinking, and if I start looking for like, hey, what can go right here? How can I get better? I'm going to find it. So asking ourselves better questions changes our mindset. And that's what gives us the opportunity-minded mindset. I think there's a second part to this mindset. So I call this a resourceful mindset. Tony Robbins says that the greatest resource is resourcefulness. So often we can make an excuse when things go wrong. Oh, if only I had XYZ, if only I had this, if I had more money, if I was paid more, if I had more in savings, if I had better health insurance, if I didn't have student loans. We can find whatever excuse to come up with just to say, I needed more of something. That's why. If we're finding an excuse to make ourselves let ourselves off the hook, guess what? You're going to find an excuse. You're not going to find an opportunity to grow, and you're not going to change your mindset. Neither am I. So when we shift into looking, again, asking ourselves better questions, what tools and resources are around me that I can use to serve others? So this is think of it like maybe in a philosophical way of, hey, I'm looking at this, what resources, if I do this, I'm shifting my mindset, and that's really great. But also very practically. So hey, I love teaching. I love talking about people. I love doing this kind of stuff. It helps me grow, and hopefully it helps other people grow. I can start looking around and say, hey, I've got a computer, and I don't know how to broadcast on the web and make it look good and have a high production value and make it quality. I've got some time. That's a resource I have. I've got YouTube, which has tons of free videos. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to study that, and I'm going to get better. And that's resources I can use to grow myself, to change my mindset so that I'm growing in this challenging time. So I would ask you too, what resources do you need? Because once you start looking for that, they're all around you. So sometimes resources are, the internet, more time, finding how-to videos online. Sometimes it's finding a mentor. Sometimes it's people around you that you can collaborate with, that you can commit with each other, that you're going to help each other grow. That's a great resource. So I know you've got resourcefulness and opportunity mindset. So how do we get the first two keys to growing in challenging time, perspective shift and change of mindset? How do we get that in motion? Okay. So I put number 3, decide to submit to the process and adapt. Growth is change. So unless I decide to commit to the process and change, I'm not going to grow. If I don't change, I'm not growing. So I wanted to encourage you as you go through those challenges that you're going through financially, personally, relationship-wise, career-wise. Think, how can I submit to this process and overcome it? Every great story that we know and we think of in our culture involves a hero overcoming a big obstacle. I know I've talked about, obviously, Star Wars nerd here. Luke has to go through a whole series of challenges to find out who he is, to discover himself, to get better and grow. I can think of 100 Bible stories where someone had to go through a challenge, a trial, a tribulation to grow and get better. Think of Joseph in the pit, right? Joseph is on his way to be the hero of his story, to grow into becoming like second in command of Egypt. He's going to save a nation of people during a famine, right? But one of the most pivotal parts of his story is when he's in a pit or when he goes to prison. All of these parts of the story we want to look over. We want to like, okay, let's skip past it. Let's thumb past. Okay, he's in the palace. All right, I like that part of the story. But guess what? He didn't get to skip that. He had to go through it. But because he submitted to the process, he was able to get to that part of his story. So it's not just me saying this. Here's a encouraging Bible verse for that. It says Proverbs 3, verses 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. That's submitting to the process. And lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. So there's a couple things I love in there. When you're going through difficult times, challenging times, you just got to trust God with all your heart. You just have to realize he's working this all out for good. And it says, lean not on your own understanding. So you see it, you might know the word and the promises of God, and then you're looking over here and saying, well, here's what I'm seeing and perceiving, and maybe in my emotions. And guess what? It seems confusing to me. It's hard, it's difficult, it's discouraging. You can't lean on that. You have to put all of your weight on the promises of God and commit to that. Submit to the process and say, hey, if there's a purpose and a process going on, I'm going to trust that there's a plan in that, and that God's using this for good. It says, in all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Again, leaning not on your own understanding, 100% committal to him is submitting. It's saying, hey, I'm stepping out of the driver's seat. I'm going to trust you as navigator. I'm going to keep moving forward, knowing what your word says, knowing what my purpose is, and believing that you're going to use this for good. It says, and he will make your path straight. That's so encouraging. I love that. So along our path, we want to think of it as a gradual downward slope with gentle breeze blowing on us and beautiful scenery all around. Sometimes it's a mountain climb. Sometimes there's big boulders in our path, right? Well, one axiom of Stoic philosophy, which is really interesting. There's even a great book, which I actually really like. It's called The Obstacle is the Way. It's probably somewhere over here. But it says the obstacle is the way. When we're following that path, right? Sometimes something just happens to be in our way and we think, okay, our instinct is, well, this must not be from God. This must not be his will. This isn't for me. It would just be easy if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. That ain't true at all. Where does it say that in the book, that it's just going to be easy? It doesn't. As a matter of fact, the very fact that there's obstacles in your way proves that it's a challenge that you're supposed to go at, confront, and overcome. So I tend to think of, I used to play football. I was an offensive lineman. And one of the first things they teach you about being an offensive lineman is a defensive lineman's going to come at you, right? He's going to bull rush in you. He's going to hit you right here. Your natural instinct is to go that way. All right, fine. He's coming at me this way. I'll let him go through. I'm going to go that way. But your quarterback, your running back, is going to get just destroyed if you just let someone go past you. So what they teach you is go to pressure. Push into pressure. When the pressures and obstacles of life confront you and attack you and they come against you, your natural instinct is going to be to go away from it. Well, this wasn't for me. In reality, what you need to do, what I need to do, is push right back into that. That's you doing your job. That's you fulfilling your calling and purpose. As an offensive lineman, I couldn't say like, oh yeah, just go get him. Fine. I'm not going to resist. You only get the attaboys and the praise and the satisfaction of knowing you did your job well when you went against it. So I'd ask you another question to think through. Are you a victim or a victor? Are you a victim of your circumstances? Am I a victim? No. We're going to be victors through this. But you can't have a great testimony without a test. So I would say the key to determining if you're going to be a victor is taking 100% ownership of your situation. So this is the hard part for me, right? So we always want to leave ourselves a little bit of an out and an excuse that, hey, this wasn't my fault, this didn't go right. If we don't take 100% ownership of our circumstances, so I'm not saying, hey, the virus, economy, all this stuff is your fault. But I'm saying I'm responsible for my preparation, my financial situation, all that preparation and just my situation. And I'm also responsible for my response when this happens. I'm 100% responsible, the good and the bad. So even if right now there's some strain or some stress in my life, I have to realize it's 100% my responsibility. Because if I give 99% responsibility to me and I give 1% to like, oh, well, the economy and everything, and I'm sure you all get it. It's real tough out there. Guess what? I've just made an excuse and I'm not taking responsibility. I'm not taking ownership. And then I've made myself, okay, I took 99% responsibility, but 1%, guess what? I'm a little bit of a victim. And when I think like that, I don't perform well at my job. I don't do good work for my community. I don't serve well at my church. I don't help out other people if I take on that victim mentality. So, when we submit to the process, we take ownership of it, and I admit that I have room to grow and adjust and change and grow, that's how I grow. Then when I take action and move forward on these principles, changing my perspective, changing my mindset, submitting to the process and changing so I can grow, that's how you can grow in challenging times. So you might think, hey, that's great. I understand what you're saying, but how can I actually apply it? Well, I just wanted to encourage you that trials can be a blessing. It's hard to perceive it in the moment, but it's all about what we say out of our mouth, the actions we take. Those are a reflection of our mindset. So how we overcome these obstacles, how we look at them, how we talk about them, how we change how we act in our life reflects our character, and it reflects our integrity, and it determines our future. So James 1, verse 2 through 4 says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because," so he's telling you why, "the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Do you want to know what the greatest strength you can have is? Before I give you the answer, I want you to consider something. So what's the greatest strength you can have? If you're thinking about, a big bodybuilder, muscled up guy, right? How would you say that he's the strongest person? Okay, can lift a big amount of weight. Can he do it a lot of times? Like, if someone lifts a small amount of weight one time, no, not that strong. Can you do it a large amount of weight once? Okay, you're getting stronger. Can you do it twice? Okay, stronger. Can you do it and hold it? Well, I remember when I was lifting weights way back when, obviously I don't lift weights now. But when you could hold a weight, or like when you're doing like a bicep curl and you just let it slowly go down, your muscles burnt. But that's how you became strong, right? It was when you could endure under pressure over a period of time. So the factor is not just can you lift a lot of weight, can you do something like that. It's can you do it and maintain that pressure over time. So the greatest strength you can have is patience. It's perseverance. It's when you can go through hardships and challenges and not just, oh, I made it through, but when you stay optimistic, when you speak well of it, when you act in faith over time and you persevere, that's the greatest strength you can have. So James encourages us. He's saying, you're going to go through stuff, right? You're going to get your faith tested. But that process produces perseverance in you. And he encourages you. He's like, hey, let that perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature. That's what we're going after. That's growth right there. Let the process work. Persevere through it. That's how you grow in challenging times. That's how you grow to maturity. And it's not just me, like with some word studies here. He's saying that's how you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. So the action here is perseverance. I'm not saying that you have to come out of this and just be like, oh, I didn't sweat once. I'm saying that, hey, when you sweat, know that you're going to keep persevering. That when it's tough financial times, or it's tough job-wise, or tough relationship-wise, being separated people, you go, hey, this is with a purpose. And guess what? I'm going to stick it out, and I'm going to be an overcomer. I'm going to move in faith, and I'm just going to believe. And I'm going to act and move on the word. James 1 verse 12 says, so this is James writing a little bit later, blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. So, I wanted to encourage you. Like I said, when I started this out, everyone goes through challenging times. But not everyone grows. If you're watching this video, I know that you want to grow through this to become a better person, a better servant, a better spouse, a better family member, a better parent, a better teacher, community member, whatever it is, you want to grow. So I wanted to encourage you. The fact that you're watching this video means that you want to grow, and I'm telling you, keep going. If you don't quit, you win. If you don't quit, you win. So, uncommon challenges mean uncommon opportunity. So that's bringing up that opportunity mindset. What can you learn and grow from this? What can I learn and grow from this? I don't know about you, but I'm committing to it. I'm going to be better on the other side of this. I'm committing to it to serve more people, to encourage more people, to love and teach more people. I'm going to add more value to people's lives. Okay? So you have that same opportunity, and I encourage you to join me. If this has spoke to you at all, I'd encourage you to like my page and just follow along. Go through this with me. I'm trying to grow and be a blessing, and I hope this has helped you. So if you have questions or anything, put them in the chats. I'm going to keep monitoring all the comments after this video posts, and I'm excited to see how you're growing, the challenges that you're facing, and the opportunities that you're finding to grow as a person. So I can't wait to see what you all post, and I'm excited to see what's going to be coming up. The things that I'm going to keep talking about. This is not a video. It's the first of many videos. So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, if you're interested in this, please like the page, like this video, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I want to grow. That's the whole purpose of this video. So give me feedback. Hey, you talk too slow. You talk too fast. Hey, this was too long, too short, whatever it is. I want to grow. I want your feedback. And again, I'm here to help. So I can't wait to see what everyone has to say. So thanks, Billy Joe. I appreciate the encouragement. And I hope this has been an encouragement to you guys. So like I said, I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. I hope you have a fantastic week. I hope that you find the opportunity in next week, even in the midst of challenges, to grow. So, all right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a good night.